In today's lecture, we are going to talk about something every SAP consultant and developer runs into the consultancy. This is very important topic that's related to transport request and more specifically the different type of transport request in the SAP. Okay, let's get started. Okay guys, this is the quick recap in the last lecture that we have learned about the SAP landscape, uh, where we know that when we make changes or we create any custom object and that we already making in the dev system, and then we move it to QS quality and finally to PROD production. But how does SAP actually package up a change so it can travel between those systems? This is a very important question. So that's exactly what a transport request does. Think of a transport request like a folder. It holds one or more tasks inside it, and each task is simply a record of exactly what changed, who changed it, and where it need to go next. So it's very important, like everything you are developing in the dev, you are moving it directly to quality and after that into production. Once every task inside that folder is completed, then the request can be released. It's very important that every task, every object in the request should be completed and activated. This is very important point. Everything need to be activate, and how to activate that we will learn in the any other lecture. The request can be released and it move on to the next system like dev and dev to quality and quality to production. A transport request basically is the vehicle, like a vehicle, like we make the journey by sitting in the bus from one place to another. So this is like a bus that we have to sit down the objects in the bus, and that bus will move to quality and quality to production. Okay, now not every transport request is the same. Okay, in SAP there are four main types. Four main types are in the SAP. The first one is Workbench request. That is for mostly we used in the ABAP objects like programs, tables, screen, these all things. And the second one is customizing request. That is mostly used for the configurational changes, mostly that we use in making SPRO. This is the T code to make the configuration. You will be learning further. And third one is transport of copies, actually which send a copy of already released objects through one to one specific system without assuming it needs to go any further. Like we are creating object in dev, we can only move into quality. And the fourth one is relocation, which permanently reassigns where an object officially lives. Let's go through each one in the detail. So the workbench request actually capture changes to ABAP Workbench objects. Okay, things like programs, function, modules, tables, and other repositories objects as well. The kind of things you have built in the transaction SE80 or SE38. So an important detail here, very important, that these objects are cross-client, like which means like the request itself is not tied to any one specific client. If dev have multiple client like 100, 200, or 300, and one thing you are creating in the 100, that should automatically reflect in the 200 and 300. So these objects are cross-client, which means that all the request itself is not tied to any one specific client. So a typical example, a developer build a new custom sales report, for example, or enhances some existing ABAP code. That changes get recorded automatically in a workbench request, just like you see in the transport organizer example, this one. You can see this. So transport example on the screen is same like that. So anything you created or changed, that should automatically save in the transport request that you can select already created, or you can create the new one. So workbench request is all related to development objects mostly. Now the customizing request actually captures the configurational changes, the kind of setting you made in SPRO to shape how SAP behave, or any specific business related things, like defining a new plant or setting up a pricing procedure. So unlike workbench requests, these settings are client specific. So your request is tied to which our client you were working in which you made the changes. So it will be available there only. A typical example that a functional consultant configures a new pricing procedure in SPRO, and SAP automatically record that changes in a customizing request that is already created, or same like you can create a new one. So exactly like you see in this example, this is exactly like a customizing request. Okay, you can give the short description and just save it. And you can also define the target client also, target system also, that where this TR will go. Okay, next is the transport of copies, and this one is a bit different from the first two actually. A transport of copies sends a snapshot or a copy of already released object to one specific system you choose actually, na? So without assuming that system in the next stop on the way to production, this is the useful. Let's say you want to reset a change in QS again, but you don't want to release your original request yet, or risk affecting production too early. A transport of copies lets you do exactly that. So send a copy to QS only, test it as many times as you need. So, and your original request stays untouched until you are fully ready. So this is very important, that anytime you create any object or change anything in the created or change anything in the development system, so you have to move into the quality, but you don't want to move the exact TR that is already like workbench or customizing request. You don't want to release that and move into quality because your work is not tested or fully completed. So create the copy of that TR and move into the quality system, and you can create multiple transport of copies. After that, relocation. A relocation is permanently changes where an object officially lives, its development system or package assignment. Okay, a relocation permanently actually changing, like either its development system or which package it's belong to. This is different from the other three types we just covered. So let me explain further. It's not something you do routinely, like as part of daily development. It's more of a one-time administrative move. Uh, these are mostly used by the basis team. Actually, basis team do this kind of activities. So there are actually three flavor of relocations. Like one, relocation without a package change, which simply move an object origin to a new system. And the second one is relocation with a package change. One is without, okay, and one with the package change. So like also reassigning, you can say it to more appropriate package. And the third one is relocation of a complete package, okay, which, where every object inside that package gets moved together in one go. So again, this is useful rarely, mainly during system organization, so not in everyday development work. So from request to production. So let's bring this all together and see how these request types fit into the dev to quality and to production journey we talk about back in lecture and in the ongoing slides. So workbench and customizing request are the ones created as you actually develop or configure something. Okay, and these get released to move step by step. So dev to quality and quality to production. So transport of copies gets used in the between, like where you need to retest something in quality, as many time as necessary without touching the production, the you can say production early. And relocation is used associationally completely outside the regular release cycle, so just to reassign where an object officially lives. Okay, so let's close, guys. This is it. And understanding this clearly will help you a lot, like whether you are developing configuration or just trying to understand what's happening when your base system moves a change between system, or you are creating something like any report or um, any custom object. So that's it for this lecture. If you